So I'm putting out another video on Neranleigh Fernvale Beds, showing you first you don't have to go for like 2 or 3 hour hikes to get a visual on the surface geology, and secondly, why it's so relevant to understanding Southeast Queensland geology. There are certain locations on the sides of the road in Brisbane that have exposed rock, and they should probably be protected because there's not a lot of them. And you don't want them cemented over or brickworked over, which happens. And so this one's off the corner of Logan Road and Creighton Street, and you can see it's very fine, shaly sediments that are like almost 90-degree angle, with a lot of faults or twists and fractures, etc. And so, having a close-up view of the surface geology map, you can see this matches with what is meant to be Neranleigh Fernvale beds, the material and the angle. And by the way, everything is sort of covered in dirt, which doesn't stop geologists saying it's surface geology. So I tried to look up what the definition of that is, and I've just come up with the term that it um, when it's the most significant layer. And if something's thicker of significance, then it might be alluvium or sand or something. They won't call it the rock. Um, it's just like the definition of an ore. It's when when the mineral is easy to extract. So they're very subjective words. So there's no real. I couldn't find a strict definition of what surface geology is. So um, how far do you have to dig before they're no longer going to call it the surface geology? I don't know. Um, but needless to say, it is quite limited the amount of evidence we can gather. So we're limited to where we can find rock exposures, like on road rock cuts, and then the outcrops from hiking around or the coastal headlands that are exposed. And that's the evidence we've got to go on. So geologists have a much better advantage because they get access to more info. They get access to quarries and drilling and university instruments such as XRF and thin section polarized microscopes and radiometric dating, etc. So they get more info, um, but that's fine. We can still get enough info just by looking around. So why is this road cut so essential to understand the geology of southeast Queensland? Um, you can see from the type of material is an angle, it must be an accretionary complex. So it's part of a scraped up crust that forms when the plate goes under another. So this map here shows the cratons that are parts of crust that are stable. That's what craton means. And Oregon, which are parts of crust that are twisted and turned and subducted. So there's a list of terminology here if you want to pause it and read through those. They're the words you need to know to understand some of these diagrams. Hopefully, I'll explain most of them. You can see Australia is made up of big massive Oregons, which might be why we're the lucky country. We have all these minerals formed through these tectonic messes, so we can dig up and sell dirt around the world. Um, anyway, as far as we're concerned, living in Brisbane, it's difficult to get outside this New England Oregon and still be back in time for dinner. So you have to drive a fair way in any direction, and you're still the whole area is just an accretionary complex which forms the base rock of the whole area. The Neranleigh Fernvale Beds, which buckle to form all the mountains as well. And then that very subduction itself causes the other things, which are the igneous intrusions. So all the red and yellow sections. And then the only thing you got left is the green stuff, which is basically sedimentary rock layered over the top of stuff. So that's the whole area wrapped up and centralized around this one subduction event. And that's clear evidence shown by these Neranleigh Fernvale beds, um, which is the key evidence to explain this the geological mess here. So rather than learning shapes of volcanoes, which is in your Australian syllabus, you need to be watching this video, okay? Because the Australian syllabus is too simplistic and it doesn't help you understand the geology of the whole area. You need to go a little bit further and watch videos like this. All right, hope that's helpful.